You guys know I've had Ellie, my children's python, for a long time. And for years and years, I always thought that Ellie was probably a girl. In the last several months, I'm starting to have second thoughts now that Ellie might actually be a boy. So for quite a while now, it's been bothering me, everybody, and I'm starting to have second thoughts about Ellie not actually being a female, because don't remember when we first got her several years ago. You guys may not remember, but it was like back in my early days of doing this YouTube. Me and my buddy Spencer, we went down to a reptile show, actually. It was actually our first reptile show ever down in Grand Rapids several years ago, and Spencer decided to buy Ellie here, the children's python, actually as his first snake. And I can't remember on the container if the snake was labeled as a male or a female. I can't remember because I don't remember seeing the gender symbol on the sticker to help determine whether it was a male or female. I don't remember. But anyway, though, flash forward several years later, we just assumed that maybe it was a girl because we didn't have any expertise, as compared to a lot of people have these days. And since I don't have any sex probing tools to help me determine, if it's a boy or girl, I can't really just determine it. But since I've had her for almost 10 years, I'm starting to lean now towards that Ellie actually may be a boy, because after I've seen several pictures and even some videos of adult female children's pythons, that were right around Ellie's age, I noticed how much larger they were compared to her, because most female snakes in general are usually bigger than males. And Ellie here, she's gotten no bigger than literally maybe 2 to 2.5 feet. That's it. And whereas a female adult children's python can exceed 3 feet long. It kind of leaves me confused of why, if Ellie is a girl, why is she still kind of small? Is there something going on with her? Or is it just maybe because Ellie's not a girl? So I'm starting to lean towards that Ellie is a boy. So, and if any of you guys if there's anyone out there that breeds children's pythons out there and then knows a lot about them, let me know in the comments down below if you guys can actually help me out with this, because I've had Ellie, like I said, for almost close to 10 years now. And I've got a hunch too, if Ellie was truly a female, she would be quite a bit bigger than this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But other than that, I think I'm going to have to start renaming her, everybody. And I think I already got a name idea hunch here too as well, but I'm going to go ahead and reveal that to you guys later on in this video. Before we continue on into this video, everyone, I want to set a reminder for all of you out there. I will be attending the NARBC Reptile Show in Tinley Park, Illinois here in a couple more weeks. I will be there both on March 14th and March 15th, both all day, Saturday and Sunday. So if any of you guys are in the area and you want to come say hello to me, feel free to do that if you guys would like to. If you want to get a quick selfie together or want to do a cameo in my video, feel free to ask on that, and I will see you guys there at the show. So let's go ahead and get back into this video. Well, everybody, I've been thinking about doing this for quite a while now, and this is something that is going to be pretty game-changing for me personally, and I'm not exactly sure how Tyson's going to handle it. He might be at first a little freaked out at the moment. I see him. He's on the other side of the cage over here. He's tucked behind the plant there. That's where he's at. But what I'm going to be doing here, you guys, is I'm going to be actually moving Van Halen into this cage with Tyson here. Now, this might be a bit of a risky move because there's been a few cases where I've read up some garter snakes on very rare occasions have been known for being cannibals. Both Tyson and Van Halen, they're both male garter snakes, but Van Halen is slightly smaller than Tyson is, and Tyson's a lot older. Tyson's almost 10 years old, and Van Halen is half his age. So I don't know how, and I'm not sure how Van Halen is going to take this, because if he sees Tyson, he might be freaked out and intimidated by his size. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go, but I feel like since Van Halen, you guys, he's been inside this rack system his entire life since he was a baby. I think it's time for him. He deserves a little bit of an upgrade anyway. I think we're gonna go ahead and give that to him, because I think he just needs to get better a little bit of socializing. So I think if he has a little companion with him, in an enclosure like Tyson, and Tyson, like I said, is older, and he knows there's other snakes in the area. I think maybe we'll give this a shot. So let's go ahead and give this a try. I know Tyson Van Halen, he's probably gonna musk on me, but hey, that's what I get for having garter snakes as pets, right? Alright, Van Halen. You gonna be nice? You're not gonna musk on me, are you? Yeah, like I said, you guys, he has been in this tub for his entire life, so like I said, I think he deserves a bit of an upgrade here. Oh yeah, he's starting to flatten out, everybody. That's not a good thing. He's gonna be squirming. Yep, like I said, he's gonna be squirming. You do okay, buddy? Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here comes Tyson, you guys. He's coming around. He's trying to figure out what in the world's going on. And again, you guys, these are both male garter snakes, and they're almost the same size, but Tyson's never had another snake in his enclosure before, so I'm not exactly sure how he's going to take this, but I'm only going to figure out one way or another, and so I'll find out here in a moment and see how it goes. Alright, Tyson's smelling him. Just figuring out what Van Halen is. Van Halen is taking a little look around. It's gonna be alright, pal. Just take your time. Hello. How you doing? Okay, so far Van Halen's been just checking out the cage all around here, figuring out all this new stuff all here that he's not very familiar with, and I guess him and Tyson, they've been kind of checking each other out a little bit here, and Tyson is a little bit curious, but I don't think he's interested in eating him so far. I think he's just checking him out like, hey, what are you doing in my cage? I don't think I've ever seen you before, something like that. You know, because he's probably never had another snake in his cage before. I think I'm going to go ahead and give them a couple of hours and see how things go. And like I said, these guys are both male garter snakes. They're two different species, but one thing I actually should tell you guys too is that garter snakes are actually one of the few species of snakes in captivity that you can cohab actually together. And as long as they're, you know, the same gender, of course. They usually are known for actually getting along pretty well here. Usually if you have like 2 or 3 together, it's usually not too big of a deal, but when you start to piling it up a little bit, like towards like half a dozen, then it starts getting pretty crowded in there. But yeah, Van Halen's checking it out, figuring out what's all this. This is pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, and Tyson's just like, hey, he's just almost like saying, hey, why are you touching me? You know you're touching me. He's like saying, I don't like being touched. Alright. Okay, like I said, I'll probably give them a little bit of time and see how things go here. And if they actually, you know, manage to get along, you know, for the rest of the day, and maybe depending on tomorrow, I'll keep you guys informed to see how things go. So why don't we go ahead and maybe feed one of my animals? Give these guys a little bit of time to get along. Well, everybody, so I am about to, ladies and gentlemen, to finally conclude the video here. So my children's python is a boy. So everybody, unfortunately, his name is no longer Ellie. Instead, his name will be officially Eli. So everybody meet Eli, the children's python here. So that is going to be his new name. So yeah, no more Ellie. We got Eli now. So after, like I said, after all these years of owning Eli for a long time, I thought he was a girl, but after, you know, owning him now for almost 10 years, I've realized I've come to the conclusion now that since he has stayed pretty small throughout those years, it's fair enough to say that Eli is a boy. So, and I'm satisfied with that, you know? It doesn't bother me if it was a boy or a girl. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with this and just say, everybody, I introduce you to Eli, my gorgeous male children's python, who is known for loving his delicious mice. But yeah, he is a handsome, handsome boy. I'm blessed to have him in my life, everybody. Yeah, I know, he was still Spencer's first pet snake, but I think as long as Eli is still here, Spencer, I think, is going to be pretty proud of me of taking good care of him still. And that's going to do it for this video, everybody. So if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to smash that like button, and I will see you guys in the next adventure.